Kentucky County Cat Court, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, and Celebrity Home Loans. All right, we're going to do a little different this morning. And if you listen to the entire program, okay, we have to reward those people, right?
Yes.
That hang on every word that you guys say. If you listen to our program at the end of the program, Dennis or Autumn, somebody's going to come up with a brilliant question. And you could win a Butterball Turkey. Yeah,
Absolutely.
Thanksgiving's around the corner.
You know what, though? Like, okay, we start talking about Thanksgiving. And about this time in October, I start thinking about it so much that I want a turkey. So a lot of times I will fix a turkey before Thanksgiving.
Well, I have a turkey in my freezer from last year.
Oh.
It's still good. I looked at the expiration date.
Okay.
And I thought it's coming upon a year. I probably should go ahead and cook that. So I had this nice elaborate dinner plan, turkey, macaroni and cheese, rolls, a whole 9 yards.
Wow.
My husband's like, no, Thanksgiving's coming soon enough. No more turkey. I'm like, what?
Oh.
So I pulled it out. Expiration date's good till like 2023.
Oh, wow.
Which is a little scary on a
Right.
frozen turkey.
Yeah, what is that? How much preservatives are in that
Yes,
turkey? Yeah,
that's not the one we're giving away, but
No.
pull out my
That's-
freezer.
yeah, right, no.
But yeah, I'm ready.
Yeah.
I'm ready for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, me too. I am too. And what's your favorite fall food, I guess?
I actually really like Brussels sprouts, and I like to make them with pecans and cranberries.
Give me
I
pecans.
know.
Yeah, who says that?
I know.
Yeah, who
But
are you, Autumn Hall?
I love a good Brussels sprout dish.
That's hilarious.
But
Oh, I know, it's good food.
Justin makes deep fried turkey
Oh,
sometimes, and
mm,
that's good. It's not dry. It's
Oh.
good.
I've got a son-in-law that smokes the turkey.
Yeah.
Smokes it. That'd be good too.
Oh, it's just like, yeah, he becomes one with him. He becomes a relationship. I mean, the way he just,
Does he need a smoker? We have like 3 or 4 in the garage.
Okay.
So.
No, he's got his own. Yeah, I know. Yeah, that's true. I might.
It almost becomes like a cult following for those people who smoke.
Oh yeah, they absolutely. And it's just so, that turkey is just so, oh man, it's just so good. Yeah, really good. So anyway, yeah, and of course I'm with Dennis, pumpkin pie and whip or whatever, or
Ice cream, a la mode on top of pecan pie.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
persimmon pudding. Yeah, I like everything, I think. Yeah, but I do like Brussels sprouts, Autumn.
I love the cranberry stuff, like that.
Yeah.
Not the gel out of the can, but like a good. That just reminds me, pecans and cranberries, and
Oh yeah.
it's fall.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. And what's your favorite Halloween candy?
That's a hard one. I don't know. I don't like candy a
Oh.
lot. I'm really not a. What's your favorite Halloween candy?
I think Dennis, you said
Snickers, pretty
Snickers.
much.
Yeah, Dennis
Good
is a
old
Snickers
Snickers.
man. He told me that last week. Yeah.
I used to, as a kid, I really loved the Zero Bar. Like, do you remember those?
Oh, yeah.
Do they still have those?
I think they do. I
love the Zero Bar.
Yeah, I
The
have
white
to say.
chocolate and the
White
nougat.
Oh yeah.
We had a bus driver that every year for Christmas would always get us candy bar and a soda.
Oh, I love that.
And so she'd always have one Zero Bar, and I knew it was mine.
Oh, that's so cute.
I knew it was mine.
Oh, she knew. Well, that's a personal. Yeah. That I never had a bus driver like that, but me. But I definitely would love that for sure, and for her to know, your favorite.
Well,
candy.
she'd ask us. She
Okay.
would always ask us.
Well, now it went. Okay, you shouldn't have told that part.
Well, yeah, but it's still thoughtful to ask
Yes,
what
that
you
is
want
true.
if you have a favorite.
You're right. Yeah.
Big Red and Zero Bars. That's
Oh, you can't go wrong with that.
that was always mine. Big Red and Zero Bars.
I could hang out with you, Autumn.
Yeah.
I could do that.
I do love, although I don't love candy a lot. I do love Little Debbie brownies.
Oh,
Those are mine.
yeah.
Those are good.
Those are mine.
Anything Little Debbie. She knows what she's doing.
But with the walnuts, the kids don't like them with the walnuts. So
Oh,
I
yeah,
always
no.
buy them with the walnuts.
So
They don't need them.
There's the way to go. Smart mom move. Very good. All right, today is Back to the Future Day.
Ooh.
Oh wow.
Today's
Remember the old movies? Remember the old Back to the Future?
I sure do.
They were a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Apple Day.
Oh.
Okay, think about apple dumplings. Think about apple. I love the caramel apples.
Oh man, applesauce,
Yes.
apple cider,
yes.
aged apple cider.
Have you seen the apple nachos now?
No.
No.
It's like caramel apple on crack. You actually cut
On
the
crack.
apple, drizzle the caramel, drizzle it so that you don't have the awkward eating of it.
Yeah.
It's like a nacho.
Have mercy.
Wow.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, me too.
I'm all for that.
This is babbling day.
We're babbling all right all day long.
Every day is babbling day.
Totally. This is celebration of the mind day. I love that.
Yeah.
Your mind, and always keep it working. Always keep thinking, doing, thinking. Keep your mind going. All
I need
the time.
mine to stop once in a while so I can sleep.
That's when you need to learn meditation.
There you go. There you go. Conflict resolution day. How much, think about in all that you do in your business. I mean, all
Yes.
the conflicts you come up against, right?
Constantly.
Yeah.
Constantly.
It's never boring.
Never bored.
But that is an important skill to have just in life.
Yeah.
Conflict resolution.
I agree. Yep, absolutely. Count your buttons day. Okay. Garbanzo beans.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
hummus.
Yeah. All
Where
right.
you get hummus from?
is it?
Oh, this is your day, guys. Get to know your customers day. How important it is at Celebrity Homes to know your customers and know
Very
Okay.
important.
to ask them what kind of candy bars they like. To know them personally, right?
You know,
It
some
goes
of
a long
them
way.
don't like
it
that.
might not be the candy bar, but well, yeah. I mean,
But yeah,
Yeah.
that's important. You have to know what meets their needs.
International Credit Union Day. International Day of the Nacho. There you go. Your apple
There you go.
nachos.
Let's blend it.
There you go.
Have
Love
apple
that.
nachos.
Let's see here. You guys are gonna love this. National Get Smart About Credit Day.
There you go.
There you go.
So
This
that's
is
a
all about
holiday
you
we're
guys.
celebrating.
Absolutely. National Pumpkin Cheesecake Day.
Wow.
I do
Right,
like a
that'd
good
be
pumpkin
good.
cheesecake with caramel and praline.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Spirit Day, and there we go. Get out and enjoy for sure. All right, let's jump right in and find out about Celebrity Home Loans and all that you got going on. And first of all, we've been going solo, Dennis and I. And Autumn, we're glad to have you back. You had a little
I'm
bit
back.
of a break, little vacation.
I did. I'm glad to be back.
Yeah.
I missed seasons.
Yeah.
I could not live in Florida, but it was nice to be there.
Right.
We love the beach.
Well, sure.
so-
We were just talking about that. We were talking about how nice it is to go and get your batteries charged.
Yes.
And come back and be refreshed. And we expect a lot out of you, Autumn.
I'll try to deliver. I'll try.
Okay. Again, if you listen to this program, and at the end we'll have a question about one of our topics here, and if you answer it and call 812-883-3401, you can win a turkey. Okay, so that's a Butterball Turkey. Love that. All right, let's talk about if I do not have a down payment, can I still buy a home? Let's
Oh,
just start off with a big one today.
That's a big one.
well, and that covers a lot of area. But yes, there's several 100% loan products. Well, I shouldn't say several, but there's a few around here that's available for Washington County and Southern Indiana. The most common is what we call the USDA RD. And it gets kind of confusing because some people hear the acronyms one way, they hear it another way, and it gets confusing. But USDA, which is the United States Department of Agriculture, has a product under their rural development section. And so RD for rural development, USDA for the United States Department of Agriculture, they become synonymous in our industry. But people kind of get a little bit confused for it. But there's some real basics. I mean, it's 100%. Autumn, you talk a little bit about it too.
I do.
I'm not gonna take it all.
I don't want to interrupt.
Yeah, I know.
I do a lot of USDA loans. We do a lot. I mean, that's
Is that new? Is this new? Because let's go back years ago. Okay, let me roll back years ago. Everybody always said, I'd love to buy a home, but I can't get a down payment. I can't get that initial, because years ago it seemed like, maybe correct me. I mean, I'm not in your business, but it seemed like you had to have quite a bit of money to have a down payment.
I think in local banks they like to have 20% down. Because a lot of them are portfolio, they hold them. But you've been buying homes a whole lot longer than I have. So, Dennis, I mean, for the 15 years I've been in it, we've always had a USDA loan.
Well, when I moved down here in 2002, my wife and I, we bought one with the USDA loan.
Okay.
I mean,
That's where you.
So it's been around for a long time. I don't know exactly when they came out with it, but I think what happens when you get in the small communities,
Yeah.
in particular, you have your local banks, your community banks, and their standard is 20% down. So some of this other stuff is not well known. We're a mortgage bank. We do only mortgages, nothing else, no checkings, no savings, no nothing like that. So our specialty has to be broader than the
Right.
local. So I think that's where, FHA's been around since Depression. It came out right after the Depression, early, like 32, to give people a chance to buy a home with only 3.5% down. And then Fannie Freddie come along, 20, 30 years later, somewhere in there, RD has come along, VA has come. VA is another 100%
Yeah.
loan. If you're a vet, you get 100%.
I love that.
So, it's kind of like fashion. I think it kind of trickles into the Midwest.
Yeah, it takes us a little bit, yeah.
But we've been doing them. The nice thing is all of Washington County is eligible for USDA.
Oh.
Because it is based on income. It's based on population, actually. So, like, you get down to New Albany, Clarksville, Jeffersonville, it's not an option. The population is too high. It is a rural development loan designed to bring people into rural communities. I mean, that's the point. So, VA is eligible everywhere. There's no eligibility as far as location.
Right. Okay.
Now, you do have to be a veteran. Please don't call me and ask for a VA loan if you've never served in the military.
Okay.
Because I am going to ask for a DD 214.
Honorable discharge.
And yes, it does have to be an honorable discharge. You can't be kicked out of the military and reap the benefits.
Going back to the rural area, and rural areas actually though are really popular, so that works out really well.
Mhm.
Because am I correct? A lot of people are looking to buy in the rural area more so, and then make the commute to.
Well, we are seeing a lot of people that are wanting out of the city.
Quite a bit. We get a lot of calls anymore out of New Albany, Jeff, Clarksville. Younger couples trying to get away from the urban city life.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be close enough
That they can enjoy it.
They can enjoy it. 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes. They can be downtown New Albany, but yet through the weekends and evenings, they're out in the country. And we're seeing a move where it used to would kind of go the other direction.
So that works well. Okay, so if a couple was to buy, if they lived in New Albany
Mm-hmm.
or lived in a bigger, let's say in Louisville or wherever,
Yeah.
somewhere bigger, and they wanted to buy something locally around here, would they still qualify for that rule?
Yeah, because it's based on where you're buying.
Oh, okay.
Now, there are income
Caps.
requirements, caps. A family of 4, your household, and it's household income. So the thing about USDA, it is household income. So if you and your spouse both work, but it's only going in one of your names, we have to use both incomes. If you have children actually under 18, they really kind of are a little bit flexible. But if you have, if you have a teenage worker at home, you have to count their income. It is household income. So that's important because if you're a family of 4 and you make over $100,000, $100,300, you can't do USDA because it is kind of lined up for that lower income moving to rural areas. If you are a family of 5 or more, it does jump up. I don't remember the exact.
120 now. It's up.
I don't remember.
It's just like So if it's a couple and say they're taking care of one of their parents or a grandparent,
that's important too.
And they've got Social Security, we have to count that income too
because they live in the home.
It's a limit. So.
But a lot of times, that's why though, like first-time home buyers do really good for USDA because usually they, just married or maybe have 1 or 2 small kids at home. You know as well as I do, kids are expensive. You don't have a lot of money to just laying around. So a lot of times when people call and they ask for a first-time home buyer loan, USDA is usually where we try to take them. The mortgage insurance, it does have mortgage insurance or a guarantee fee, but it is so low compared to the other loan types. Very low.
Keeps it more affordable.
It does.
Rates are really good on those.
Yeah.
Some of the best rates we have.
Oh, wow.
So overall, it is a great program. No prepayment penalty. I think I priced one out 3. I think we're still down in the low 3s on it. It's just a really good product for, first-time home buyers. And you don't have to have down payment. And the nice thing about USDA, it is the only loan that allows you to use the equity to cover closing costs. So if you are buying it for $100,000, it appraises for $103,000. You don't have closing costs. You can actually bump it up and take care of your closing costs. That's the only loan program that allows it.
But it's also, and all the loan programs pretty much. So if you're very short on funds, even on some of the other products, you can adjust the loan size. The seller, you can buy, your seller can pay your closing costs, and they can
Yes.
adjust the purchase price to cover that. That way you can finance it in. You can't just add it on top. I can't add it on
Right.
top.
So you need to do that up front.
So you got to understand, that's another good reason. That's why you need to come talk to us first
Right.
before you go house hunting, because there's these little things that you need to know. And if you use some of our great realtors around here, they're already knowledgeable about it. And they'll call us and say, hey, so-and-so's here. Tell me about how they need to finance. Do we need to add closing costs? Do we need to do this? And that's good. If they don't come to us and they buy it off of, they see it posted on Facebook Marketplace, and they go see them and they buy this house and they come walk in with a contract, or I got this bought, here's what I'm doing, and then all of a sudden I want the USDA loan, I want 100%. Well, who's paying for the $4,000 in closing costs? Well, what do you mean it's 100%? Just, well, it's not quite that easy. It's got to follow guidelines.
Right.
Yeah, we can't just give money. I mean, like,
No,
there is a
right.
fine line, and that, you know, we have that, though. We have a lot of people who are like, oh, my, you know, it's all included. Well, it can be all included, but you have to do it up front. I can't go back after everything's done and say, oh, by the way, bump up the purchase price and give a credit. That's going to be a huge red flag at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it gets, because how many loans do we have out there? You have an FBA, you have
a FHA.
FDA
is the.
Now you know they're going to be able to, like, okay.
The acronyms throw you off.
Oh my God, who comes up with this?
Yeah,
You know,
we have a conventional.
so you have
USGA, BAF, you know.
Are you serious?
No,
I'm
sounds like my.
it's Babbling Day.
Babbling Day. Sounds like my
it is
kids
Babbling
saying their
Day.
ABCs.
Yeah, no, I mean, like, you're blowing my mind over here. I'm like, oh my goodness.
Well, we do
I didn't
have.
know all these loans and this stuff. You know what I mean? It's like,
We don't know them all.
there's more. out
There's
there.
more. You have subprime. You have. I don't.
There's hundreds.
Dennis
of
looks at all the
products out there.
brokerage
There's thousands
stuff.
of products out there. I sat through a class yesterday on something I had no clue about.
It's
from
crazy.
a lender, and it was on investment loans.
But
And it's like, oh my God.
We in our office, we do conventional.
There's two products there.
There's two.
Fannie and Freddie, both products.
And a lot of people, speaking of earlier, we were talking about how a lot of people think, oh, if I go conventional, I have to have 20% down. Well, no,
going
technically,
conventional, you're talking about when you mean going
just a regular loan.
So there is such a thing.
Well,
like that.
you
there is such a thing like that.
you have two entities that during the crash the government bought. And there's two corporations that started up to bundle up loans and sell them as mortgage-backed securities on the stock exchange. And this started years and years and years ago. It's like, because banks don't have enough money to lend out in checking and savings all the mortgages out there. So insurance companies, big investment groups, they buy all these securities that are backed by mortgages, and they're the ones that actually get the interest. Everybody thinks that you get all this money, you make all this interest. No, we don't. We don't make any of it.
Yeah.
It's whoever buys those. It's kind of like going to the bank and giving the bank $5,000 and getting a certificate. You get the interest off of it, and you get your $5,000 back. That's kind of what all this extra money from investors and everybody else happens out there. So you have Fannie and Freddie that bundle and do all this stuff, and they have their own. It's called a conventional product. It's not backed by the federal government. It's not backed by anybody but private mortgage insurance. There's insurance companies that will insure them, so if they have a loss, it covers their loss. And then the federal government, depending on which branch, so FHA is Federal Housing Authority, which is part of HUD, Housing and Urban Development. So it's kind of like USDA, RD. Now we got HUD, FHA, and then the VA on top of it. And they insure. Those are the ones that insure those loans.
And they're the ones that take the losses. Really.
Take the losses. But you pay a mortgage, it's called mortgage insurance. People goes, oh, I got it. This comes with insurance.
PMI. We also hear, oh, I don't want PMI.
Yeah.
Well, then
20%.
you have to have 20%. And honestly, a conventional loan, if you come in and you have over a 700, 740 credit score, good job, low debt, a conventional loan is really going to be a better product for you. Even, they even have programs where you can do a conventional loan with 3% down. You don't have to have 20%, but you have mortgage insurance. But if your score is over probably a 700, 720, your mortgage insurance is actually going to be a little bit lower, because that mortgage insurance on conventional loans, it's based on your credit score. It's based on your credit bureau. It's based on your job. Like, it's based on you as a person. FHA, USDA, that is based as a flat fee. I don't care if you have a 620 or 780. It's the same mortgage insurance factor. So if you come in, you have a good credit score, you have good job time, you have an okay down payment, it doesn't have to be 20%, then I'm probably going to take you conventional, because you haven't jumped 6 jobs in 2 years. And once you hit 20% equity, your mortgage insurance falls off. You don't have it life of loan. FHA, USDA, you have it life of loan. So there are some differences there, but there is a thought that, oh, if I don't have 20%, I can't do conventional. And that's not true.
Oh, you bring good news today.
That's not true.
Yeah.
There you go.
You can do it with as little as 3%. Usually it's 5.
But that goes back to they're trying to also compete those loans with USDA and FHA, so they have a conventional product for low income.
Right.
It's only 3% down. Otherwise, it's 5.
So are those the main 3 in?
And VA. We have 4 main ones that I would say we have 4 main ones we do in our office. VA, USDA, FHA, and conventional. Those are the 4 that we really focus on. There are other loans out there.
But it's just like you take those 4 basic products, and conventionals, actually it's 2 different companies. So that gives you 5 basic programs. And when you pull the guidelines up, those books are roughly 1,000 pages long. And there's, if you can, this is qualifies, but if you have this, then this qualifies. But if you have this, then you got to do this to qualify. And I mean, it's pages and pages and digging, and you know. And it changes, and those change every day.
Yeah, I was going to say, once you get it and you feel like, okay, I got a grasp on this, I know what it is, they change it, and it's like, it's throwing all over.
Yeah.
So.
But you know, I mean, you guys are smiling, laughing, and loving this, but you know, the rest of us, this is not necessarily anything.
It's not funny.
No, we're like over here like, you know what I mean? Like,
but honestly,
I mean, like, you're loving your life over there. But the rest of us are like, ugh.
But that's why you need to come talk to us, because at the end of the day, our job is to look at these situations. I don't expect you to know it.
Right.
I expect you to come in.
With all due respect, I don't want to know all. You know what I mean?
Right.
I mean, I'm not saying
it's confusing.
It's very confusing. I'm not saying that. I think in every situation you need to be educated.
Yes.
I'm a huge advocate of that. But I honestly, to dig in, I want you digging in.
And that's my job.
Yeah.
I mean, you should be able to come in. That's our job. You should be able to come in, tell us what you want. We should be able to look at your credit, look at your income, look at your, you know, your life, and say, okay, this is the product that fits you the best. Here's why.
Exactly.
And then I don't even need to bore you with all the other loan programs.
Right.
Like, I'm not even going to talk to you about VA loan if you're not a veteran. It doesn't apply to you.
Right. Well, and I think too, you know, like I think an individual, I'm always for, you know, knowing what you're going into. So if you dabble a little bit or Google a little bit of stuff, you know what I mean? But it's nice when I can come to you, to a person, Dennis or Autumn, and say, is this right for me? And you say, oh no, this would be better for you. Or
right.
You're going to save more money. You're going to have more money. You're going to, if you go this route. See, I love that expertise that you guys have on that.
And it's been hard fought.
Oh, it is. I mean, you don't go anywhere and learn it. You cannot go to college and learn it.
Yeah. Right.
You know.
No. Yeah.
I always go back to my black eyes and bloody noses. You know, you just learn. You make mistakes, and when you make mistakes, you learn.
You learn what you're never going to do again.
Yeah.
Right.
I may not know how to do it the right way, but I know how not to do it.
So we've been in this for years, and this is your passion, and this is your beat. This is what you do. So going back on this, has it changed big? I mean, like you said, they
drastically.
Yeah.
Drastically. When the crash of 2008, you know, everybody talks about the crash of 2008.
No, not everybody, Dennis. What is the crash?
We talk about the crash.
No, Dennis, at my supper table, no one says, remember the crash.
Remember the crash of 2008.
No, it's past the mashed potatoes. I mean, sorry.
Well, but that's important, because we do have a whole new generation of people who are coming to buy homes that they don't remember it.
Okay, tell us what the crash of 2008.
Well, that's when the economy crashed.
Okay.
That's when the mortgage industry
That's
crashed.
when we had so many
and it actually started
foreclosures.
before then. it started like 18 months before then.
Yeah.
A bank's going belly up because of all these exotic, crazy loans. And by the way, they're starting to come back. They're seeing more.
And that's when Dennis and I
was
both
like,
got
oh
into
my
it.
God. You know, this week I saw interest-only loans. I saw
40
40-year amortizations. Like, what? This thing went away 15 years ago, you know. But when that happened, you know, Congress come up in the late 80s, early 90s, and made the comment, everybody should have a home. Make guidelines so everybody can own a home. They forced the mortgage industry to change what they were doing. Not be conservative, not, you know,
do you feel is it fair to say reckless a little bit?
Yeah,
extremely
not
reckless.
everybody deserves housing. And I am a big advocate. Everybody deserves some type of housing, but not everybody is ready for the responsibility of a mortgage and a home, and that is important.
Yes,
different.
words wisdom.
Yeah.
Words of wisdom.
Yeah.
Very good.
So that created, so then our great federal government jumped in, and we have what's called the Dodd-Frank Act, which came out in 2010. It's 27,000 pages long and has made our world a nightmare. I've seen loan officers drop out right at the beginning of the crash, and then in the last 5 or 6 years, try to get back in because the money that they made then was so easy it wasn't even fun. And they made barrels of money.
And that's
and
part
they
of them.
scratched around and done insurance and done this or that. And they go, I'm going to make the good money. Things seem to be lighting up over there. I'm going to come back into the mortgage industry and I'm going to do what I used to do. Well, I have not seen one of them survive over 6 months. They get into our industry and they go, well, I didn't have to do this before. I didn't have to do that before. I didn't have to do this before.
You can't walk in and
You
close
can't.
a loan
It's
in a
different.
week.
You can't.
Right.
You're responsible now. It's a different ballgame.
Well, and now and I tell people this, like if you go to the courthouse or you look at your mortgage, recorded mortgage, on the last page is your loan officer's name, license number, and information, because now we're responsible.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we're held responsible for that for 10 years.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
So they can come back on.
So that's been
There now, because there was so much illegal fraud things that happened, you know, around that time of the market crash, that they came back and said, no, you're not going to screw people, basically. So now you're being held responsible.
So they were taking out loans that were not responsible,
or even just
giving out loans that were not.
Those underwriters had rubber stamps. Oh, here's the paycheck. Okay, they're good. There's that. There's that. There's that. Send that loan out. Bring me another one. I done 20 loans today. I got a bonus on all 20 of them.
Yeah, we have one program. I mean, still, and I think it's coming back, which just boggles my mind. But stated income, stated assets.
Oh yeah,
you didn't have to verify anything. You could say this person as a waitress makes $60,000 a year, and she has $100,000 in the bank, and all you'd have to do is go to Google and find a state where a waitress makes $60,000 a year and send it in. Because they make tips. You can't prove cash. We'll just state it. But you had loans like that people were closing. You had buyer seconds, where you were recording a second mortgage after our closing and after. I mean, like, there was just so much crap.
Yeah.
And then, I mean, like Dennis said, you had loan officers, so they were just looking at the money. They don't care about the people. If you foreclose in 24 months, not my problem.
Right. That's so
and
sad.
So it was a mess. It was just a mess.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it has changed. It's changed to the better. It's kind of like, you know, the pendulum. It's kind of like the pendulum. It swung to the worst at one time, and then in 2010, that sucker slammed to the other side.
Did they ever admit that it didn't go right?
Oh, they blame the bank. They blame the mortgage industry.
You're asking the government to take responsibility.
They never take responsibility.
Well, I just wonder because, you know, so they capped it, they changed it.
They did change guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah, they did change things to where they said, "Whoa, we have too many foreclosures.
Yeah.
Now we're going to get." I mean, now we do. We verify 2 years income, 2 years employment. Underwriters are responsible just like we are. So you have guidelines, but it is up to underwriter discretion. But now we prove things. We have, you know, you can't walk in and close on a loan the next day. It's not a car loan. So yes, they have tightened to where now you do have to verify. You have to show an ability to repay this loan. That's why it is.
It is. You actually have to.
3 years.
You have to follow the guidelines.
It's good for the person too. It's
It is.
responsible. You know, because Well,
tell
you
the
know,
people that yell when I.
I mean, it's not something that's just, I mean, it's not something that you want to hear, but it's also, but it's
Right.
something that I'd much rather get the news now than try to make this and not be able to make the payments,
Right.
you know,
Mhm.
down the road. And then, you know, that'd be a lot worse than, you know, don't be starting nothing, there won't be nothing.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if you can't get it, that's more responsible.
Yeah.
You know?
Well, and that's the thing, and you know, we do have some people who, well, why do you have to know all this? Well, because I have to make sure you can pay it back. I mean,
Well, yeah.
I can't just come take your house back. Like, I can't just come knock on your door and ask you to
Well,
leave
nobody wants to do
because
that.
you,
Yeah, that's not the, no.
you know.
Yeah, that's, you gotta catch that before that. I mean, that's where.
And I don't want you to be stuck in a place where you can't live your life because your mortgage payment's so high.
Right.
You know.
Yeah. Which we've touched that before.
We
Dennis
have.
has explained that, and that's a shame too. And you know, you don't want to be house poor where you're not able to go and do stuff. You know, and that's where
Mhm.
the lifestyle.
It's your lifestyle. Yeah. So that's why, you know, it's nice when they come in, because I mean, some of my first question is, you know, what are you wanting? What
Yeah.
do you need?
Right.
You know,
Right.
well, I want a mortgage. You know, well, let's
No,
go a
you
little
really
deeper.
don't.
Explain me your life. Explain me your income. You know, let's talk about what you're needing. You know, do you
Right.
need a big house? Do you need a small house? You know, then we get into conversation. You know, well, where do you need your payment to be? Instead of just being
What
a
can I
robot asking 10 questions, punch the computer. Okay, here's what you do. Or you don't qualify, buy. Or go get you a charge card, buy. You know, it's more about sitting down and having conversations, and like you say, build that relationship with that customer, because you want to get them the best product.
Absolutely.
Well,
You know, and that's what makes us so happy, and we enjoy the work. Because when you get someone comes in and they don't know anything about budgeting or what they've got and where they're wasting money, and you sit there and you help them, and they go through there and they learn and they change their life, they get a house bought and they're happy, it makes you happy too.
or
Because you help somebody.
even the people that aren't happy when we tell them no, but then they come back and they're like, hey, thanks for not letting me buy that home, because I mean, yeah, they were mad when they left, but they came back. I thought about what you said.
Right.
Thank you for being honest with me and not just. But we get a lot of people in there that, I mean, Dennis brought up budgets. I sit down with people and I'm like, let's talk about your budget. Like, let's talk about your utilities and the gas that you need, and you know, there's just a lot of things, especially with first time home buyers. If they've been living with mom and dad, you know, they've never rented, they don't think about those things, and they may come in thinking, oh, I can afford $1,000 a month, but then by the time we talk about everything else, it's, oh, I really need to stay about $500 a month because I didn't think about my Hulu, I didn't think about my car insurance, I didn't think about my cell phone bill, and cell phone bills are crazy expensive.
Yeah.
It's like, these are things you need to think about that you don't think about. It's not just buying a house.
Right.
And that's just like, okay, so we've talked about USDA, you know, it's 100% loan. But even though it's 100% loan, you need to have a cash in your hands when you come in, because what people don't realize, okay, you got to pay for the appraisal up front. That's $500. If you're going to have a home inspection, the home inspectors charge $300 to $400, but you need to have a home inspection. And then I tell them, I say, get a home inspection. I said, they're going to mark everything that they can find. You're going to know everything about that house. Now, that doesn't mean everything needs to be fixed by the seller, but at least you know. If there's any big ticket items, then negotiate it and get it fixed. But there's a fee. And then when you get, so that's basically, we get the rest of it covered with closing. But if you buy a house, I know when I bought a house, I go in there and scrub the carpets, or I throw the carpets away, put new carpets in there, scrub the floors, paint the walls, put blinds up, put shades
You
up.
got moving expenses.
You know, then it takes gas to move, and trucks and trailers,
you
and
got
maybe
to
a
furnish
U-Haul.
that house.
So it's not as simple as, oh, it's 100%. I can close one day, move it the next day, and keep on going and not spend any money. Well, you're going to spend some money. And you need to do a little planning.
Right.
You just, you know.
The home inspection, is that paid by, who pays that?
Buyer.
Buyer,
Because
okay.
it's and this is, we actually have a little form for your protection, get a home inspection. You know,
Well,
it's a nice little rhyme, isn't that
yeah,
cute?
slogan there.
We didn't do that. The government
Wait, say it
did.
again.
For your protection, get a home inspection.
Should old FHA.
I love that.
I didn't come up with that. I can't take credit for it.
So true.
But I always tell people, hey, it is encouraged, but technically it is not required. We encourage it because, again, we want you to know what's going on, like what's going on with the house. I don't want to see it, like, because they will pinpoint every little thing. And for your protection, if something's been marked, my underwriter's going to say, all this needs to be fixed. And 9 out of 10 times, home inspectors are not licensed electricians. They're not licensed plumbers. So a lot of times we will see on there, hey, we see this could be a potential issue. We recommend an electrician inspecting. We recommend a plumber. Well, guess what? Then we have to hit you for, now we need an electrician to inspect. Now we need a plumber to inspect. So those can get very expensive, and those don't get paid at closing because that has to be done before.
But that's also where the realtors come in handy.
Yeah, that's why you
Because
need a
the
good
realtors will take
realtor.
that
Yeah, that's
inspection,
exactly right. Yeah.
and they know that, and they're negotiating for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on your behalf.
On your
Right,
behalf.
right. Well, because so you'd have some homeowners that might say, I'm selling this as is.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? I'm not going to put that extra into it.
You're hurting yourself when you do that.
No, but I'm not.
But yes, there is.
I'm only using scenarios, guys.
Oh, I know. You're fine.
Yeah, and saying, I'm not going to put this into, I'm not doing this, so if you don't want to buy it, then.
Okay, so on that, that's a very good point because I have heard that. But please keep in mind that as a seller, if you agree to an FHA, a USDA, or a VA appraisal, then and this is again where your realtor comes in handy. If you accept a USDA offer, even if you're selling that property as is, you are agreeing to USDA terms.
Ooh.
You accepted that. That is your responsibility as a seller because you agreed to that loan. So if I walk in and you have peeling paint,
You got pain.
I don't care if it is as is. You agreed to FHA. FHA says you can't have peeling paint. It has to be fixed. Or I'm not closing your loan and you can't hold your buyer responsible. So that is an important differentiation because I have had sellers who have said, as is, I don't care. I do care.
Yeah.
Because you agreed.
Yeah. That's got real popular in the last year with this crazy market.
Right. I was going to say, so let's say this. Let's say that I said that, and then you say, well, if you want that loan, you're going to have to get it done. Well, then what if I, as the buyer, was to say, okay, I'll just go in and do it myself?
I don't want to know that.
Oh.
We do have buyers that do that.
Well, I mean, because they're that much wanting the house. And if they want that house,
it has to be done. But then you're taking on, and this is why I tell my buyers who do that, as long as the work's done, I don't care. Because paint, you don't have to have a contractor.
No.
You don't. But please keep in mind, you're using your time, your resources, and if something happens, you're not getting that back. So you go spend $50 on paint.
And if it doesn't go through the loan,
and then
you're just painting somebody's house.
You have to volunteer. I just had a buyer literally go paint a whole mini Miller's barn shed. And that's fine. And I have gone and painted garages. I have gone and
Autumn has gone.
I have.
You did this too.
Dennis is drywall. You have gone and painted up
That's
drywall.
hilarious, you two.
Oh yeah.
You gotta get it. You gotta
I
get a
know
loan
what I
close.
need to. I know, but I need to know what services you offer. My goodness,
We don't brag about.
We don't brag about that.
I'm writing this. I mentally will re-roll.
It's extenuating circumstances. But
I don't plan on moving, but I good to know all this stuff.
We do what we need to do within reason. I'm not gonna go redo your whole home.
Yeah,
but within reason, I will go paint. If I got a piece of wood that needs painted, I will go paint it. I'm not gonna hold up a loan for 15 minutes of work. I keep white paint in the back of the office, so just for those little things.
Wait, I am cracking up. That's hilarious. Now you guys know that's above the
I went out and sprayed wasp
nobody else
one
is doing that.
Yeah, Dennis has done
I
that.
went out and sprayed wasp one time. I got wasp spray in the back of my office.
Yeah. But it is little things like that, though, that it's like, okay, I don't want to wait 3 weeks for this to be done.
But sometimes, and correct me, because this is not, again, but sometimes it can be little things like that nobody will give on.
Mm-hmm.
Each one will not give.
Light switches. I had one time, there was a light switch in a garage, and the seller was adamant that I'm not doing it. I'm like, I will go to True Value or Ace Hardware, and I'll spend 87 cents on a
Switch.
cover. I'll do it. I'll spend 87 cents on the switch cover, put it up, I'm done. You know, and what people don't realize, we don't have to do that very often because a lot of times realtors will. It's not worth the dollar.
Yes.
I'll go do it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
It's not worth it. You know, that's just, I can't speak for other places or big cities, but that's what we do. If it needs to be done, and because here's the reality. Yes, we're busy. We're busy people. But if you have a buyer and a seller who both work, I can take an hour out of my day to go do what needs to be done because you're working. It's not as easy for you as a buyer or a seller to ask for vacation to take off
right,
just to paint.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'll do it.
right.
I don't want to. I mean,
Right.
like, it's not something that happens on every loan,
Yeah,
but
please, I'm not going to go paint. Yeah.
there are circumstances that we do what we need to do to help where we need to help.
Well, I love that, and that's everybody working together. You know, and just like you said, the realtors, they do things like
They
that.
do
too.
things like that. They do so much more than people realize.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean,
so as far as the so like okay, as far as the houses and negotiations, I mean, it's not going to be anything really fast. Is that true? I mean, like usually it takes a little
usually
while.
10 days. I think the standard is 10 days for inspections.
Okay.
Now, after that, and usually they don't request holding. Usually inspections are done within a day or two. But it can take a little bit of time to negotiate back and forth. But we don't usually see that side of it. So we are still moving on our side.
Okay.
Worst case, we will wait to order the appraisal until we know inspections are good. But we're already collecting information, ordering title, processing the like we're already doing ours.
Loans moving through the system.
So that's concurrent.
Yeah.
I mean, that doesn't really hold us up a lot.
Yeah.
Right.
And actually, then I don't want to. I got one the other day. I sent out an update, and the realtor sent me back and said, "Oh, great! And the foundation work is supposed to be done by Friday." I said, "Whoa, what foundation work? Like, I don't know what you're talking about." She's like, "Oh, that wasn't for you." I was like, "Good."
Yeah.
I don't want to know.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't. But they do that kind of stuff on their end.
Yeah.
And it's just concurrent. It's just almost a lateral, you know.
Now, have you ever started a loan and then like something like didn't go through or whatever? Or give us like a scenario, not names, but just some different situations that have happened.
A lot of times it's house conditions, or we may get into an income situation once we verify it that the income's not, there's like a job gap that was too big, or what they told us their income in really wasn't once we get it. So
Or
yeah,
income-
things happen. Title work, title issues.
Sometimes
I've
you
seen
do.
that.
And what-
Stir 'em up.
Yeah, tell that. Then.
If you have a lien or a judgment or something against the property or the borrower, that doesn't show up on credit bureau. It
Yeah.
shows up on title. Because it attaches, they do a 30-year search. Your credit bureau only holds public records for 10. So if you have a past due tax bill or IRS bill, or even where somebody sued you 15 years ago, that's not going to be on your credit bureau, but it will show up on title. And so if you have a $10,000 debt, that has to be cleared. And so that has stopped things sometimes. Deaths.
That's
I
been
had a
common
seller
lately.
die, so I was clear to close on a loan, and
That just happened recently.
I just canceled that loan out. Seller died, but by the time everything went through courts, my buyer was like, "Nah, I'm done."
I'm done.
Oh wow.
So
It happens.
it does happen, and sucks, but it happens.
Yeah.
And then I had another one. Actually, I've had two I've canceled out. I had one, my buyers, they had a death in the family, and just too much. It's too much to deal with that and trying to buy a home. And, you know, at that time, it's like, listen, I understand. Houses are not going anywhere. We'll be here when, you know, whatever you
Right.
need. We'll cancel out. No big deal. No harm, no
Couple
foul.
split up,
Yeah.
buying together, and they're splitting up, you know, in the middle of the deal. So buying a house is stressful.
It's
Very stressful.
It's in the list of the top 5 or 6 items in life that are the top of your stress. You know, births, deaths, you know, stuff like that. It's right there with it.
What's your biggest investment?
It is.
It-
Most
yeah.
people, it is.
I mean, you know,
Absolutely.
And it's usually 30 years. I mean, that's your basic product is a 30-year, you know, that's a big commitment.
Definitely. Wow. I mean, it's a lot. So, like, okay, so if a person is thinking about the someday, you know, like this is like, you'll say you write down, like, this is my goals, this is what I want to do, and I do want to purchase a home someday. If I came to you and just wanted your advice, okay, tell me what pathway I need to go, what I need to do so that I can get my act together so that I can qualify for one of your loans.
So there's no easy answer.
As you can tell from the hesitation.
Because it does depend on product and what you're buying. Rule of thumb, though, we go back 2 years. You need to have 2-year employment history, steady employment history. You need to have 3 trade lines with a 12-month history. So I want to see that you can pay back money. If you've rented, we tell people if you are not renting, then you need to at least be able to save the equivalent of rent.
Yeah. If you're living with your parents and you're going to buy a house and the house payment's $1,000 a month, and you know it's a couple and you're both working and you're not paying rent, you better be saving $1,000 a month in a savings account, because if you can't do that, you're not used to making that house payment. It's a learning curve too, because when you put that money back, then all you're going to do when you buy the house is make that same payment to your house. So you're already used to not having that money and go party hardy on it.
And I'm giving you a cushion.
Yeah.
You're saving. You're building a savings.
And it doesn't mean you need it to buy.
Right.
You know, we can use the USDA loan if you qualify. So you got $5,000 or $6,000. You don't have to use that as your down payment. You still got a cushion when you move in. You know, and it's just learning to manage your money. And it's just like she said, well, I want to see 3 trade lines. And everybody goes, oh, I got to have debt. No, you don't have to have debt. That's another whole issue. That's another whole show that we can do on that. But
well, I think we should.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
I don't want you in debt. I don't want you. I just want to see that you can manage money and borrow money and pay it back. And even if that's, hey, I'm putting $50 a month on my credit card for gas, and I'm paying it, you know, I'm paying it off, well, that's fine.
That's being responsible. That's managing.
I don't want you to have a $500 limit and have a $1,000 balance. That's not responsible.
Right.
You may have the trade line, but that tells me you can't manage your money. And do I really want you having a house payment?
Right. Well, and you know, and it's nice to know, and then you can walk in and see which of the 4 loans that you can possibly qualify for. But going back to that, Autumn, last week, Dennis and I talked a little bit about this. I think my stance is, you know, is there's nothing wrong with renting, right?
No.
And renting works wonderful for some.
Mm-hmm.
And but I think it's nice that if they do choose to own, you know what I mean, either way, you know what I mean, whatever you choose, whatever direction is best for your lifestyle, I like it that it's possible.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That because you know, if a person's happy and they're wanting to, you know, to rent, and that's the way to do it, and it works best for their lifestyle, just like with a vehicle, whether you buy your vehicle or you rent your vehicle, or what do you call it?
Right.
You know,
Lease it.
Either way, but you have to see what's best for your lifestyle. But just like on this, you know, but it's heartbreaking when you have people that do want to buy and they don't feel like they can.
And I think a lot of that does come back to just knowledge.
Yeah.
I am a firm believer that, I don't want to say firm believer, because every situation's different, and that's why there's no, you know, but I do believe that people should rent for at least 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
You need to know what goes into purchasing a home, maintaining a home, not necessarily purchasing it, but maintaining a home, doing your budget, because if you can't rent for 6 months, then you're not going to have a true understanding of what it takes to buy. Mm-hmm. And yes, renting does stink, because then I've had people that have come in, I don't want to rent, I'm just throwing away money. Well, you know what? Sometimes life skills cost money, and you can't put a dollar on that.
Right.
And then I have people who come in and they've rented forever, and why do I want to buy? I rent fine. I can't afford a mortgage, but I can afford rent. And I'm like, well, you're paying a mortgage. You're just paying somebody else's mortgage.
You're actually paying more for it.
So
Rent's not cheaper. I always hear this. Rent's cheaper than owning. Well, no, because you're paying somebody that has put a down payment on it, so they got to make interest on their down payment. They got the same tax. They got more taxes than you do.
Because you have
Their
no
insurance
exemptions.
is higher because it's investment. And then they're making the mortgage payment too, so you got to pay that. Plus, they got to make a profit. So to rent the same house that you would be buying, it's going to cost you more to rent it
In the long
than
run.
to buy.
But you don't have, I mean, you're right. If you rent and your water heater goes out, you're not the one replacing that. You're calling the,
Exactly.
You're calling
yeah.
the-
I mean, that's, you know what I mean? Or you don't have to mow the yard
you-
necessarily.
well, it depends. If you're renting an apartment or something like that, no. But houses, a lot of times, you rent a house, most landlords that I know don't mow the yard if you have a house. Some do. So it just depends. It
Right.
does.
Right.
But
But I'm saying that, like, you don't have that if you're,
Yeah.
your washer dryer goes out, you know what I mean? Call, I mean,
Yeah.
those are perks, you know what I mean?
They
You know what
are.
I mean?
if
Because-
you have a good landlord who does it, because what we're seeing right now, a lot of landlords are not furnishing appliances. They're not, they're not furnishing stoves, or if they have in the past, then they go out, they're not replacing them. That doesn't come with the house. We're renting the house, not the appliances.
Right. But if you know what I mean, but I'm just saying you have that
Right.
option. But when you become that homeowner, if that washer, dryer, stove, refrigerator goes out,
Then you're responsible. Well, yeah.
I mean, it's still in the.
Yeah, places like
calculated in the
American Rental and Groby, so you can go in.
Yeah,
You can rent them.
well, and I'm thinking, I mean, the American dream, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Living it,
Yeah.
woohoo, and trying to make that, and then, but I think you brought a good point up. Renting, you realize, okay, like when you hear that amount, my rent amount is this much a month. Okay, oh, I can do that. But then when you start adding the water, the electric, and like you said, maybe your TV shows or whatever, your cable or whatever you want, you start adding all that, and then it's like,
It's expensive to live.
yeah, the cost of living.
I saw something the other day. I saw a chart that it was talking about the minimum hourly amount you needed to make in order to live on your own with a standard rent of $7.50, let's just say. And I think there were only like 2 or 3 states that it was $15. The rest were anywhere, because with the values going up, yes, houses are costing more, but rent is also rising. And I don't think we have hardly anybody that's renting for less than $750, $800 a month right now for 1 bedroom, 1 bath house. It's kind of expensive. I mean, it is.
Right.
Most of them's over $1,000, $1,200, $1,500. We can buy a house for that. You can buy a nice house for that.
Yeah. Definitely.
Even with being,
Well, it's good information. I tell you what, it's a lot to take in, though. You know what I mean? And to figure
Oh,
out
yeah.
which is best for you and which is best for your situation, and and maybe you are here for a little while and you want to rent, and then because maybe you have plans in your career, you're going to
right.
go to another state or something. You don't want to, to do that, and I mean, everybody's lifestyles are different. Yeah.
And that's why there's not a one answer for everything.
Right.
There's not a one size fits all, one answer works for everybody, because it really isn't individualized.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Well, we said we were going to give away a turkey, and if you are listening, 812-883-3401. That's 812-883-3401. It's our first time doing this, so I don't know how it's going to go over. We will see. It's hard to soar with eagles when you work with turkeys, right?
Exactly.
So anyway, we'll see. But the question, do you want me to come up with a question?
Go ahead.
Sure,
I
go
think
right
we're
ahead.
going to make it really
We'll
easy.
see if you're listening too.
Well, yes, that's exactly right.
Put you on the spot
Can I
today.
call in? Yeah. You've got one in the freezer, Autumn. We need to get that out and eat that turkey.
I do.
Anyway, okay, so we talked about how many loans there are possible. We're going to make this real easy. If you can tell me how many loans that Autumn and Dennis said there are right now, or the main ones, how many main ones there are. Of course, there's all kinds of other ones out there, but the main ones, call 812-883-3401, and you can win a turkey. If not, then we'll just roll it over and do another turkey next week. But if anyone's listening out there and has that answer, and don't be afraid to call in. You know what I mean? I promise we'll be gentle. And all you have to do is tell us how many loans, actually, how many main loans there are. Right?
Right.
Absolutely.
I'm about to say it. I'm one of those that like, yeah. Oh, here we go.
There we
All
go. This
right,
happened.
let's see this. Good morning. Hi, who do we have with us?
This is Sue. I think they said 4.
Ah, Sue, yay! Yay! Well, you definitely, we appreciate you listening, and definitely that is exactly the answer. And Sue, I'm not going to ask you to name all 4. We'll have them name the 4.
Go ahead, Dennis.
All right, you got USDA, and you got VA, you got FHA, and then you have conventional.
Yay!
And that conventional breaks down into 2 parts.
Yay! Sue, actually, I will call back a little bit after Coffee Club, and we'll get you this turkey, okay?
Okay, good deal.
Congratulations.
That's the community dinner.
There
Oh,
you go.
yeah, absolutely. And it is, Sue, also, this is actually a Butterball turkey. So this isn't any old turkey. This is a Butterball.
Okay, good deal. Thank you so much.
All right. Thank you, Sue. Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Wonderful. Very good.
Nice.
Very good. There we go. Listening. Love that. And, yeah, and it sounds like she's going to use the turkey for put it to good use.
I love it.
So
Maybe Sue will invite us to the community dinner.
There you go.
I think we are, and usually are invited. Sue, I think she would probably feed anyone. I think everybody, you know what I mean? I think a lot of our listeners are, you know what I mean, good people for sure. But anyway, it is interesting in it. And so to take away the 4 different loans possibly out there and to know how you qualify for it. And I love your expertise, and I'm so glad. I hope that it comes across here on this program that if anybody has any questions or information, and let's give the hours, location, and how they get a hold of you guys.
Okay,
That's
that's okay. So we are located on the square.
Yeah, it's time for autumn to earn her keep, right?
Turkey.
Yeah.
We're located on the northeastern side of the square, bright yellow awning, can't miss us. In between, well, now we're by the bakery. We're just 2 doors down from the bakery. So I'll even meet people at the bakery if they want. I'm okay with that. Or the Mexican restaurant, because we're right there, you know. Office hours are 9 to 5. Dennis is there. He gets there early. I get there about 8. I'm there from about 8 to 3 because I have to leave and go get the kids. Appointments, evening and weekend appointments, but office hours 9 to 5.
Okay. Phone number? They got business
Oh.
hours.
Yeah.
She's still
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm still on vacation mode.
Okay.
812-883-0670 is the office number.
Yes.
My cell phone's 812-620-6121. Dennis's is 812-620-4025. We do use our cell phones for work. If you get a voicemail, just text. Let's just text. Again, that's 812-620-6121 for me, 812-620-4025 for Dennis. And then the office at 812-883-0670. Call the office, Rachel will answer and put you in touch with us. We don't have voicemails.
Yeah.
Like, we really try to answer the phone, so you're not going to get a voicemail. If it's after hours, you'll get an answering machine. Rachel's really good at checking that. Dennis and I, not so much.
And if you just got a question, you really don't want to talk to us, text us.
Text us.
Send us a text. We'll answer you.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, I love it, and I think it's great, and I encourage anyone to come up, and if they're thinking about purchasing a home or just wanting to know if this is right now in their lifestyle, if it will work out, just to come see you first.
Yeah. Even if it's just help me with my budget. I would like to buy one of these days. I don't know how, I don't
Where
know
do I start?
Where do I start with my budget? We'll help you. No
Yeah.
problem. And there's no fee, no charges for
I
that.
love that.
It's just sitting down, having a conversation, showing you how to do it, and you a couple of budget papers you can set and, run the numbers on, just so you understand it, and you'll get there.
Well, and Autumn, we talked about this last week. Usually this would be a charge. This would be a class that you guys are giving. Yeah, so that's a blessing that as a community we could come in and talk to you and get some good information on that, because a lot of times it's not necessarily, it's not necessarily taught, and it's just
And it's not going to be a sales pitch from us. We don't do sales pitches.
Right.
It's about, learning the hard truth. And sometimes the questions and answers,
Sometimes you might not like us when you leave.
at least you'll know honestly what it takes.
Well, and that's the hard part sometimes, I think. You may not like what I have to say, but I don't have it to say just to make money. I really want you to be, and Dennis too, we really want you to be a productive member of society.
Absolutely.
Because when society succeeds, we all
Oh,
succeed.
That's exactly right. All right, wonderful. Well, thank you guys for coming in, hanging out. Wonderful. information, good information. And I want to thank our sponsors, Walmart, Meadowview Healthcare Center, Salem Crossing, Hoosier Uplands, Kentucky Cat and Court, Dr. Mindy Gunn, Dr. Black's Eye Associates, and Celebrity Home Loans. Thank you guys for coming in the house today and talking with us, giving us some great information. For sure, congratulations to Sue for winning that turkey.
Yes.
Have a good day,
Congratulations, Sue.
guys.
Thank you.
This is Brad Mills from the Salem Card Show, inviting everyone out to our next show on October 30th from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at the Washington County Fairgrounds 4-H building. We'll have over 45 tables of sports cards, sports memorabilia, and non-sports cards such as Pokemon. Admission is free. Come out and buy, sell, or trade. Kids get to trick or treat. Don't forget to follow us on all your social media platforms at Salem Card Show.
Hi, I'm Quinn Buck, a proud member of the American Senior Community School.